Hello. Good morning. Ooh, good morning. Guess what? Yeah, a bit of Run DMC this morning. I'm in one of those moods. It's a bit heavy on the guitar. I hope you're all the mic. Hang on, I'm just going to turn that down a little bit. Oh, wow. Big night last night. Big night. Big night. We had our, let me just hit pause on that for a second. We had our live Q&A session with the Alchemy of Intention Setting group, and it was really awesome. Really awesome. And then I was so wired, I couldn't go to sleep afterwards, and I'm feeling a little bit tired this morning. Just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. Oh yeah, hey Georgina. I don't know, this morning I was into Run DMC, Kiss, Aerosmith. I had those going. I don't know, it must be something to do with trying to wake up. Good morning, Tony. Nice to see you. Good morning, Sonia. Hey, Melinda. Good morning, good morning. Yeah, I was just talking about our session last night. I really enjoyed it. It was a really good Q&A session. Okay, so I've got 5 people that have commented, and I can see 8 people watching me. So make sure you jump on and pop a comment so that I can see that you're there. Otherwise, I can't really see you. I don't get that notification that you guys get that says somebody else has joined the conversation. I don't get to see that. Rosie, awesome. Wow, waiting since 4:50. Cool. Good morning, Nernan. I'll just see Guns N' Roses. Awesome. In the cold November rain. All right, stop singing, stop singing. Oh, hello, Robin, Rich Living. If you see the Rich Living posts, that's not me typing and talking. I'm not that good at multitasking. That's Robin commenting there on the side. Good morning, Beck. Good morning. Melinda, huge session. It was an awesome clearing for me. So fabulous. I was totally pumped today. Even though I'm tired, I'm still totally pumped. Anyway, for those of you that are joining live at 5:55 for the first time, my name is Michelle House. I'm the creator, the founder, the person, I don't know. My business is Rich Living, and it's all about your money and your life and living a rich life from the inside out. And these little snippets that I do every day are insights into my world. We do talk about money stuff, and I answer questions from people. So sometimes they're nice and short, and sometimes they're really long, like yesterday's was 28 minutes or something. These all started off as being 5-minute little inspirational monologues, I guess, but they've turned into a bit more than that, and that's okay. It's all good fun. But today's will probably be a little bit quicker than yesterday's. I think that was a record time, that one. Good morning, Melly. Good morning, Elise. Good morning, Robin. It's Robin now. Good morning. Hi, hi, hi. Okay, so we're building the audience, which is fantastic. What I'm doing today is I'm going to be answering a question that came through to me. Excuse me while I just take a drink of water in my... Just a second. Okay, so one of the questions. This is from Tegan McGovern, and this was over in our Rich Living Room group, where it's just awesome in there at the moment. People are all supporting and encouraging and helping people with their situations and their answers. Good morning, Caitlin from New Zealand. Good morning. High vibes. Yeah, high vibes. It's awesome, isn't it? High vibes. Smashing it, smashing it. Okay, so yes, back to the living room. If you are not in the Rich Living Room group, the way to do that is to click on this link that my beautiful magical Robin will post right now. Where do we buy those mugs from? Shh, just you wait. Hey Lisa, good morning. All right, so back to Robin. Would you mind sharing the link to download the free playbook, which is an awesome tool, by the way. But when you download the free playbook, it will give you an invite into the Rich Living Room group. And that's where we talk about the play group. We do. It's playful. It's fun. It is a bit like a play group in there. So if you wouldn't mind sharing that, Robin, that would be awesome. And that's where people can post some questions. And I can see when it's a question that needs to be shared amongst others. So I come out here into the Rich Living page and share it all with you guys. Alrighty, so let me just tell you what that question is. Bit of a statement first, but I'm in a lot of debt, an unfortunate after effect of a failed business partnership and me walking away with only debt and no employment. have even considered bankruptcy to end the financial tie I have with the company. So 2017 is about moving forward. I want to write down and own what I owe, but I want to know the best way to list and write these things down so I'm focused on paying it off and not being stuck on how much is the amount. So how do I paint my paying off debt in a rich living way to make this a positive experience? So here's what a rich living revolutionary would do with that. Part of being a human being is acceptance. We have to accept things. So accepting where you're at and what the debt is and writing it down, like you're suggesting, Tegan, writing it down and having that figure there and accepting that that's where you're at. For those of you that don't know my story, when you say a lot of debt, I don't know what that is for you, but a lot of debt for me was $75,000. That's consumer debt. That had nothing to do with a mortgage or paying off investments or anything like that. It was just consumer debt. So I had to get to a place of going, adding it all up, which was a bit overwhelming and the feeling was a bit scary, I guess. But I got to that place where I was sick and tired of the not actually knowing what the facts were and sick and tired of feeling shit about debt. I knew that I just wanted it out of my life, and I knew that part of having something out of my life is to go through that phase of acceptance. So accept where you're at. For me, it was accepting that I was at $75,000 worth of debt. And then it's taking the strategies, practical strategies, but also emotional strategies as well to pay that debt down. So the way that I approached it, it's very, very past tense for me. The way that I approached it was bringing it on to be more of a challenge, more of a game, a fun aspect to it. I did actually reward myself at certain stages. So I didn't get so consumed by all of my money going to paying off debt. I actually lived my life as well. My lifestyle changed, obviously, but I still would get to the end of the month and go, awesome, you've paid off $1,000 this month. That's fantastic. Go and do something. And sometimes it didn't cost money. Sometimes it was go to the movies, but I always made sure that I put in the effort and I gave myself the reward. Even though seeing the limits come down, it wasn't enough for me because I felt that I wasn't living my life and I was going to be stuck for 750 weeks, whatever that is, paying off this $1,000 a month. I didn't want that. That was a very burdened, heavy feeling for me. So a rich living way to do it is, and bring color into it. You know, bring color into it. Write it down, and every time you pay it off, do a big love heart and a big circle and go, woohoo, I paid it off. Another way to do it is, just 1 second, and I will show you something. Bear with me 1 moment, please. You're going to get blasted by a light, maybe. Hang on. Okay, I'm back. Wait. Mic back on. The beauty of doing live, hey? So this here, can everybody see that? You could print off, I think I've got one called money bags, so something like this. And then every time you pay off $1,000, color one in. And look at that and get a high vibe and go, wow, I'm nearly there, I'm nearly there. I think I have this in the Rich Living Room group, one of money bags. I'll double check. But that's a good way that you can visualize it and see it and feel good about it. So that's a practical way. Another practical way with paying off your debt is, it depends on the type of debt, but there's two different ways. There's one called snowballing, one called debt stacking. Excuse me, I prefer the snowballing method. And actually there's another method underneath that I prefer even more. And for me, it was the bill that gave me the most grief. So the credit card or the loan or whatever that I hated the most, whether I hated it because the interest rate was too high or I hated it because it reminded me of that time that I spent all that money on something that I didn't really want, whatever it was. So whichever the one you have the worst feeling about, pay that one off first. But if you want to go really practical, there are two other methods, snowballing and debt stacking, which is to do with highest interest rates. Pay those ones off first, right? Okay, I'm not going to go too far into that because that's quite technical. That's something that I actually go into a lot of detail in the program that I'm working on now, the 12-month money school. Okay, so that will help you practically. Now, emotionally, what I want you to do emotionally when you're thinking about your debt is, let me just have a quick look at my notes for this one. It's all about your perspective. Okay, so if you are looking at your debt and your perspective of the debt is, I have debt and debt is shit, your perspective will be always, I have debt and debt is shit. If you change your perspective to, wow, I have this debt and I'm so appreciative that I was given the opportunity to experience going through business, if it was your business debt that you're talking about. So appreciative that I had that experience. And you know, I had to go into debt to do that, but I'm appreciative of the experience. I had to go into debt to buy a new fridge from an electric store. I'm so grateful and appreciative that the credit card company trusts me enough to pay it back. And coming from, you know, we're flipping it all the time, flip it to, okay, this is the heavy feeling. What would the light feeling be? Great place to post in the group where you can, in that Rich Living Room group, and you can say, this is the way I'm feeling about this particular debt, and somebody will help you flip that. I'll help you flip it, or if somebody else is in there at the time, they'll help you flip it as well. Is that making sense to everybody? Is that making sense? Okay, so let me just have a look in the comments. Good morning, Emma. That's the bit I often miss, rewarding or acknowledging my achievements. Gosh, we're hard on ourselves as human beings. Can't wait to join Money School. I can't wait. Like, there's so much I want to say about it. Shh, 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 shh. Because it's not finished. It's not shush because it's a secret. It's shush because it's not finished, and I want to be really clear when I talk to you guys about it. It's actually opening at the end of February. I have 3 enrolled people at the moment. 3 students are already enrolled with me. They signed up last year, even before really knowing what I was going to do, which is fantastic. So awesome. And I've actually gave them a special opportunity to have a half-hour coaching session with me every month. So yeah, it will open at the end of February. If it's something that you feel called to do and you would like to squeeze in a half-an-hour coaching session with me before we get started, awesome. Let me know and I will get a link to you. So just make a comment in here, say, I'd like to know more about the Money School. What have I got? Lisa, you cannot get into strife or trouble for owing money, only refusing to pay. Write a list and what affordable monthly payments without leaving yourself out of it, like Michelle says, to love and life. Yep, love your life and reward yourself. Contact the people, companies you own, explain the situation and what you can afford to pay. Totally. And you know, we live in a world now, I'm going to go here for a second. We live in a world now where mental health is a prominent issue. Mental health and financial stress is a prominent issue. So banks and credit cards do everything they can to help their customers around that area. You have to ask. The very first phone call I had to make about getting into the financial hardship department of a bank was really, really hard. This is 10 years ago, but it was really, really hard. And I had to kind of burst through all these doors and say, no, you're not listening to me. I'm so stressed. I'm so anxious. I'm so worried. Once I started telling my truth about it and not trying to go, oh, I'm really sorry, I can't pay it off. Not that. It's your truth is, I'm so stressed. I'm so anxious. This is affecting my life. I really need you to help me come up with a solution. I know that I spent the money. I know that I'm responsible for paying it back and I want to pay it back, but I really need your help. They have counseling teams. Okay? So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. That is money shame. Money shame. That is ruining your life and you're not living a rich life because that money shame is holding you back. That's something else we talk about in Money School. Why is this all coming up today? Anyway, that's a massive module in Money School, money shame. It's actually a third of the program. Okay, so true, Lisa. Yes, please like to. Okay, Georgina, I'll work out how to get that information to you. It'll all be a draft, so don't say anything about spelling mistakes. No, do let me know. More about Money School, more about Money School. Cool. Okay, cool. Guys, I will get that all to you sometime today. Rosie, I've been trying to get on top of my credit card, but as fast as I almost catch up on the overdue part, more interest is added. It's frustrating, and you feel like you're in quicksand situation. Okay, so is it just one credit card, Rosie? I would like to know more about Money School. Promise. Lisa, the more you leave it, the worse it will feel. Exactly. Set a day to sit and face it head on. Most companies will be good that you are offering to pay something. Once you've done it, you feel lots better. And this is the big thing. And again, I'm going to say this is what Money School is about. There's such a practical aspect of money because we live in that world. A bank is not going to take our call when we say, well, you know, I'm changing my mindset and I have all these affirming statements around my room and I'm meditating and I'll be right, it'll get paid off. That's not going to work. You have to get in and you have to do the practical stuff, right? This is all about you. It's not about them. So get the practical stuff sorted and then move into the emotional space of changing the way you are thinking. So jump in, like Lisa's saying, jump in, boots and all, and go, right, today's the day I'm getting this shit sorted. I'm doing it. I'm getting uncomfortable. I'm getting sick. Start writing down the statements that you hear yourself. You're so naughty. You shouldn't have got yourself into this much trouble. What the hell did you buy that kind of car for? All of that stuff, that's going to help you as you go through your process. So maybe, yeah, make a whole day of it. Do what you need to do to get through that. Money shame, nice term. It's deep. Money shame is deep and it runs our lives. Yes, Lisa, apologies for my poor grammar. We're all texting madly. It's all right. I think we're all in a world now where we completely accept all that kind of stuff. All good. So, Rosie Road, yeah, okay, one credit card. So here's the thing. If you have one credit card and you're paying off one credit card, have you stopped using the credit card? If you are still using the credit card, that's going to be really hard. Really, really hard. So with one credit card, if you pay off the minimum monthly balance, I don't have any statements that I can show you because I don't have any credit cards. But in what I remember from them, up in the top right-hand corner, it would say what the balance was, when the payment was due, and the minimum monthly amount. If you just pay that minimum monthly amount, it's going to take you years to pay it off. Now, in Australia, we have a website called moneysmart.gov.au. So it's a government financial literacy website. It has a calculator in there about paying off your credit cards. If you put all the details in, it will calculate how long it will take you to pay off that card. Now, from memory, I used to do a workshop on this particular topic. And if you just pay off the minimum, if you say, I can't remember, but if you just pay off the minimum, you pay on a $5,000 credit card, I think it was, you paid back the minimum monthly balance each month. It was like $35,000 or something that you ended up paying back, something like that. Whereas if you pay a little bit extra, that comes down because the interest isn't compounding anymore. Well, the interest is still compounding, but it's not compounding because you're paying off so much more money. But when you get down to the place of paying off the minimum balance plus everything else you've got. So this is when you're really sick and tired of it, you will make shit happen. So really sick and tired and you just want to get it out of your life, you pay the minimum monthly balance and then you sell the bike that you haven't been riding that's been in the shed for 2 years. Give it a clean up, get $200 for it, put that on the card. Then you've paid all of a sudden the minimum balance plus $200 that month. Brings it right down and the interest won't be as bad the next month. Pay what you can, pay the minimum monthly, and then look around and go, right, well, let's do a garage sale. All that money then goes on the credit card. Even if the minimum monthly thing works out to be, say it works out on a weekly basis, the minimum you've got to pay on your credit card is $50 a week, pay $60. Even that extra $40 a month will help you chip away at it. But the idea is to put as much money on it as possible, as quickly as possible. Is that helping? Great, thanks. Thank you, Robin. Bless you. Money Smart website. Robin's just posted that up. It's excellent. It's got some really, really good tools in there, especially when it comes to credit cards. Hales, hi, how you going? So that covers that. I hope that answers your question, Tegan, and helps you get into a high vibe state around debt and doing it the rich living revolutionary way. Bring color into your life, make it fun, release your resistance to it, and start attracting it. Okay, so I did pick a card today out of, yeah, isn't that funny? I can always, camera, let's just hold it there. I can always tell a different financial abundance story. So if your story That's the Esther Hicks cards, by the way. Esther Hicks Law of Attraction cards. So you can always tell yourself a different financial story. If the financial story you're telling yourself and everybody right now is, life's so hard, it's so hard, my debt's really big, it's really shit, we haven't got any money, oh my God, it's so hard, so hard. Your financial story will continue to unfold that way. If you start telling yourself, you know what, I'm actually completely done with that. I get that it's been hard, but look at this. Today, I actually worked out how I could put some extra money on my card. I'm so appreciative of that. Hang on, my financial story is changing. Look at that. What could my new financial story be? And start stepping into your new financial story with no beat up and no blame behind it, but your new financial story. Does that help everybody this morning? Soupy. Okay. Just Lisa, I don't own a credit card or have loans. If I don't have it, I don't spend it. My bills are written every month, my diary. Awesome. Awesome, Lisa. That's really, really cool. If everybody reading Lisa's comments there on the side. I don't know if I should read them out or not. I don't know. Sorry. And my eyes go off the camera, so I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you. Sophie, I had been working on my money shame and found a coach who offered training and worked with me to start training by paying a minimum weekly payment so I could start with them. A few days later, they stated they wanted 3 times that amount instead a week, and I had to cancel as I could not afford it. Immediately, I felt crushed. I felt they did not trust me or value me as a client. 3rd day since, and I'm still feeling this. Money shame is such a crop, working on finding the flip. Awesome, Sophie. So can you copy and paste that comment over into the Rich Living group for me? Because I've run out of time. We're past the 20-minute mark. Or I can answer that for you tomorrow. Actually, I'd really love it if you could cut and paste that into the Rich Living Room group, because I know that I can come back to that this morning and give you some answers, and I'm sure some other people in here can help you as well. Would that be okay? Thank you, Sophie. Hales, it's hard, but yes, if you say to yourself, it will be all right, and find a few, or ask the universe. Yeah, and the more you tell yourself everything is okay, the more everything is okay. Robin, I was on the phone to the bank yesterday in relation to one of your cards, which has the highest amount. The expiry date was June. Never did. They informed me to ring a different number and get a new one. I don't think I'm going to now. Very good. Very good. And, you know, some people have a great feeling about credit cards and they use them really well, and they have a high vibration around credit. They don't see it as debt. They see it as it's funding. But they are very, very clear about that emotion. The people that I work with when it comes to credit cards, I have not worked with one person that doesn't feel bad about credit cards. So you really have to tune in. I know a lot of people say to me, well, it's okay, I pay it off every month. You know, only 8% of the population does that. So really tune in and go, okay, let's look at this credit situation. If I did max it out and if I did lose all my income, how would I feel? Okay. All right. Love you guys. High fives. Woo. Ooh. Woo. Money School. I'll get that Money School info to you guys sometime during the day. Thanks again. I'll see you tomorrow. High fives.